What's up?
Hey.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Wow, this is so exciting.
I know. So cool.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
New York City.
New York City. Yeah, I'm feeling great. Came in last night and I love this city, so yeah. Feeling pumped.
Let's go.
Pumped.
We have some really interesting questions here and things to dive into. I want to start a little bit with background and some educational stuff. You have a pretty unique upbringing between Reykjavik,
Thanks.
Washington, D.C., and Beijing when you were growing up. How did that play a role in your artistry?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I think I actually get asked it a lot, and I feel like I have a different response every time, but I think it's the best thing it's given me, like having like a very multicultural upbringing, is just kind of like this innate understanding that there are so many more people in the world and characters and cultures other than my own. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I grew up both being like a teenager being a kid in Iceland, in Europe, understanding European traditions, but then also living in the States, being a teenager here, going to college here, but then also like my Asian heritage is really important to me, and I was raised in, a Chinese family, so I also understand, what it's like being an Asian that, doesn't live in Asia. So it's like such a combination of different things that make me who I am, but I think both on a human and artist level, I think I just kind of understand that the world is very big and that there are lots of different characters and cultures.
Is that also connected to musical influences?
Yes, I mean, definitely in a way. Like every part of the world, I mean, I think there's less of this now just with like, with the internet and globalization, but, in general, like every group has like, they have their own things that they listen to. Like in Iceland, like hip hop is like all that anyone listens to, which like you wouldn't expect. And then all the music that comes out of Iceland is like this like kind of postmodern classical ambient music, or like Björk, which is like, so you'd never guess that necessarily of Icelandic teenagers. But then, I like go to Asia and I can tell that there's like a lot of jazz music that like younger kids are listening to, and pop music that has, jazz chordal writing in it, and, melodies that are very like, there's a level of romanticism in pop music there that I don't think exists as much in European pop. So it's like, it's stuff like that, I think. But yeah, if that made sense.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about like the business of becoming a performer. So when you're an emerging artist, you're expected to do all these things, not just as a performer, but you have to handle your own marketing, brand strategy, socials, negotiations. And a lot of the GRAMMY-U members here are studying classical music and jazz, and they're curious, how did your studies support your industry knowledge and your business skills?
That's a great question. I mean, up until the age of 19, I think I only knew like scales and 18th century music. So definitely, I think my music education really gave me first I learned about music first. And I think that made me, when I learned more about the business, and actually, fun fact, I studied music business in college at Berkeley. Yeah. You guys, I'm not gonna lie though, like, I don't know how much of that I took away, but the industry changes so fast. Like, I graduated 2021, and I don't think we talked about TikTok. Can you imagine? Like, that's how fast the industry changes. But I think it gave me like an appreciation for music. Like, I think, whichever part of the music industry you work in, having like this innate appreciation for music is so important. Like, that has to be at the heart of it. But I mean, I think, yeah, my early music education was very classical, structured. And then when I got to Berkeley, I was studying a lot more jazz. I was actually a cello performance and music business double major, but I ended up just doing the music business because I wanted to get out. But I still graduated though. For context, it's not cool to graduate from Berkeley. I've
bet a lot of dropouts.
Yeah, that's like the cool thing to do. I'm always very meekly like, yeah, all the cool musicians that graduated from Berkeley dropped out, but yeah, woo, did you drop out? Oh, yes, come on, and guess, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything more on this chair, but you're graduating in 2 weeks? Congrats, that's amazing. Congrats to both of you, because you learn the lessons. The graduation is a whatever, that's, it's awesome. No, I'm kidding. I think, what I really learned from my music education and took from it was just like, don't sign anything without a lawyer. And don't sell yourself short too early. Like, I think I learned, and to your earlier, I'm making no sense right now. To your earlier point of like, being an artist and needing to do everything, like that's every single part of the music industry right now. Everybody is wearing like 25,000 hats. And like, I have a label now, I have a manager and a lawyer and all the kerfuffle, but I have a marketing budget. But still at the end of the day, I'm shaking my ass to a 2x 0.5 TikTok sped up version of my song, And every single one of my artist friends is like, we're all kind of, subject to that. And I think in a way it's like, yes, it's annoying sometimes, but like what a lovely equalizer, Like I was looking at Charlie XCX's TikToks because I was like, okay, my TikToks are like a little embarrassing. But then I was on Charlie XCX's TikTok, and anything she does I think is cool, right? And she was doing the same ass thing. I was like, okay, looks like we're all just doing this. We're all trying our best. But yeah, I think the fact that you have to do so many things as an artist now, or like if you want to be a manager or A&R or something like that, you kind of have to do all these different things. I think it's though it can be difficult, I do think that it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing, yeah. I just said so many words.
And it was all really good. I want to hear a little bit more, dig into the transition from a student to a professional. And is that just like something that's just happened that was really easy, or did it take you a while to figure out?
It took me a really long time to own that I was a musician. Like I felt like a student, and I think classical music kind of tells you you're a student forever. And you're a musician when you like maybe audition your way into an orchestra or something like that. And it wasn't until I like was around graduation where I was like, whoa, I'm a musician. And there's nothing deciding that for me other than me just claiming that I'm a musician. So don't be afraid to claim what you are. You could be like half managing a friend. Call yourself a manager, that's what you are, And I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of power in that, because that's how you manifest. But yeah, it took me a long time to transition from student to artist. I remember this very distinct moment where I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, this is my job now. And so yeah, it was a weird transition, but yeah, just own it, claim it. I could have been like 13 and been like, I'm a musician. You're allowed to do that. Words are free.
I'm sure there are some classical and jazz students here and watching.
Hey.
What do you recommend for those students in those majors to take advantage of while they're in school now, just to get the most out of those majors as they're building their artist career? And if you could go back to school, is there something that you feel like you could have spent a little bit more time on?
not necessarily. Like, I think I spent too much, this is gonna sound so bad. I spent too much time being a student, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't spend enough time enjoying the music. And like, especially I went to Berkeley, which is a very unique music school where, you know, I think one of the best things that you can get from there is to find other classmates, collaborate with them. And you can do this in any music school, but like find kids who have similar musical interests and like make something with them. Try. If it sounds terrible, it doesn't matter, you know? But I kind of wish I would have just believed in myself a little bit more, experimented a little bit more, because I think I was trying too hard to be a good student. And when you graduate Berkeley, no one's checking your GPA, you know? I mean, unless you're like going to law school or something, which like Godspeed. But like, you know, if you want to be a musician, go. The real wealth, I think, of being in a music school is being in this like, you know, this nest of hungry, talented kids. So yeah, that's what I would say. Honestly, yeah, start a band. Like learn from the people around you. That was cool. Like I got to Berkeley and there were kids from all over. There's so many international students and like they have a completely different approach to music and background and so yeah, that's really cool. Also, just do your harmony homework. That's the last time you'll do it in your life. Like genuinely, you will never do it again. My mom is a classical musician. She's a violinist in an orchestra. That girl could not help me with my harmony homework. Like fully could not. So, you know, just do it. You'll never do it again. It'll be great.
You've studied a lot of different musical styles and techniques, but I want to ask about classical in particular and your classical training, how that's influenced your approach to music, and if you feel like you have to break out of traditional boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had to break out of it. I have so much respect for classical music, and it will forever be my home, and I love it so much, and I don't regret a single part of my journey, and I actually think that classical music education can be a really, really important building block for many musicians. Not all musicians, but many musicians. My grandmother's a pianist, and she's 86, and she can't, you know, go around much more anymore, but every single day she sits down and she plays piano, and it sounds the same as when she was 50, when she was 30, when she was 13. And there's a beauty in that, and I think that's something that classical music education gives you. Like it gives you that when you learn it and you just implement it into your body, you have it forever. So I think that's one of the reasons when I see her, I'm like, wow, like this is why music education is important, because it's no longer her job, it's just her, like it's her soul, it's her enjoyment, it's her hobby. But anyways, I digress a bit. But classical music definitely made me a really good student. Like it made me really good at studying composers, studying music, playing music, reading music. But it didn't make me necessarily a creator of music. And that was like something I realized when I got older. I was like, I can also make my own music. Like that doesn't need to be this completely separate thing, because I think in classical music it's very separate, right? And so that took me a little bit of time to break out of, to understand that, to build the confidence to write my own music and to not follow the rules of classical music, because how was I supposed to compete with like Bach? It's been around for years. Everyone knows it, you know? And that was who I was comparing myself to. So I needed the confidence to kind of, and honestly, I went to Berkeley and I was like, wow, all of you are completely delusional. I need to be more like you. It was a very eye-opening moment. But classical music, like I use that every single day. Like my education, like it's given me stamina for tour. Like it's definitely given me the discipline to like work hard and push through, and like classical music, when you work hard there, like, you're not getting that much payoff. Like, no one's doing classical music to be rich. It's always for the love of the music and to become, you know, a really good technical player. But yeah, and then obviously my music writing, like, there's so many classical melodies in my music. The harmony, like the harmonic information in my songs is really it's really informed by classical music. So yeah, I love it. But
the next question here is about your process, and
Oh,
I don't
great.
know how much of that you've already started to get into a little bit. I don't know how much you're willing to reveal, but you've found
I'm
this
clearly
way.
willing to reveal a lot.
You have found this way to combine modern songwriting with more classic and timeless melodies. How do you strike that balance? And can you share some insight into what your creative process looks like?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough because when I started writing music that was inspired by jazz music and classical music, all I was thinking about was like, oh my God, my old professors are gonna see this and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, that is harmonically wrong. Both like the classical music community and the jazz community. And these were communities that I grew up within, but mostly like respecting so much. And I didn't want to take something from them and just like throw it in the fire. But sometimes you gotta do it a little bit, you know? But my process, when I started out, I was singing a lot of jazz standards, and I was writing music that was a little bit more like standardy. And so like back then, I was definitely a little bit more jazz leaning. Not that that's left me in any way. Like, I will always be a jazz singer. That's how I fell in love with singing. My favorite songs and music are all from there. But what I've really been thinking about recently when it comes to mixing genres or whatever is just like, I just haven't been thinking. I just write whatever melody comes to mind, and I just let it flow. And sometimes it's a full, like, you know, it's in a jazz standard format and has those chords, and then I just let it live like that. And then sometimes I write a song that's coming out as a full pop song, and I just like let my mind wander. Like, how beautiful is it that we can just do that now? I think for me, it's like being freed from the shackles that I put myself in as a kid.
There,
You guys are so nice.
I want to talk about genre. We've touched on it a bit, but genre is a very important part of the music industry and how it works and how you market your songs. Do you think about how you're going to present a song under a certain label, alternative, jazz, pop, rock every once in a while? When you're working on a project, before, when they come out, how do you think about that?
I don't. It's too hard. I cannot put myself in a box. I don't think we should put artists in boxes. But yeah, when you do upload music, like I remember when I was uploading my first song, like, because I did it myself, because I had no team. Actually, I had a one-woman team. It was me. But I remember I was like on DistroKid, and I saw the genres, and it was like pop, rock, jazz, alternative, and I was like, what? But I can't put myself in a box. It's impossible. That would hinder me from making the music that comes from my heart, like if I thought about it at all. So, I don't know. I can't do it. I love so much, like, I love so many different genres, but the music I make is just my own genre, and I feel like this year is the first time where I'm like, I didn't even think, like, I put out Silver Lining, a new song,
Yeah?
a couple weeks ago, and like, I just thought, after I put it out, I was like, whoa, I really didn't think about the genre of it once. I didn't think like, oh my God, this is kind of old-fashioned, or like, oh, whoa, this is like a little modern. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it at all. I just put the song out. But I used to worry about it a lot. I was like, what are people going to think this sounds like? I mean, I'll literally, like, I remember when I have a song called Valentine. That's, yeah. Sorry, I'm like drinking in the energy of you guys every time you're like, I put out Valentine, and it was like a jazz standard type of, format. And it went like an eensy bit viral on TikTok. And I remember there were like people at DSPs that were like, okay, we don't really know what to do with it, because usually when a song is like starting to go viral, we put it in this like rising playlist or viral playlist, but they're pop playlists, and this isn't a pop song. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, that's fine, And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, this is my music, so I'm just gonna keep making it, whatever. But then, so my Silver Lining went immediately on this playlist. There's like a specific playlist, like the day it came out. And I didn't think of it twice, and I don't think anybody thought of it twice. And therefore, I feel like I just make the music I make. Like, my genre is just Laufey.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're...
Yeah.
I think you're very much at the forefront of the whole music industry is moving in this way. Like, genres are crossing over, and people are taking risks.
Gen Z doesn't give a shit about genre.
Like, yeah.
Honestly.
No labels.
No label. We don't like labels. We don't like boxes. We don't like labels. Like, because none of us fit into any, which is so sick. But like, yeah, I Gen Z wants a mood.
Yeah.
We want a vibe. We want to like put on a playlist and be like, rainy day. Or like, or like happy picnic.
Yeah.
With friends. Like, that's what we want. We like to curate aesthetics. And
So
sometimes there's a rock song involved, and sometimes there's a jazz song involved. Yeah.
So speaking of vibes, you just played Coachella recently, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And not only did you play, you didn't go out there by yourself. You went out with the Los Angeles Philharmonic on a huge stage at Coachella. Like, talk about doing your own thing and bringing it to a stage. Like, that's amazing.
I mean, I was a guest there. Let's be clear. It was Gustavo Dudamel, who is a legend. Like, my mom was like, what? I would never imagine that you'd play with Dudamel, because he is like maybe the most like well known and praised conductor in the world. So like, to a classical nerd, which I still am, will forever be, I was like, whoa. But yeah, the LA Phil was playing. It's the first orchestra to like, I saw comments that were like, oh my God, like, this orchestra's played. No, this is the first orchestra to be billed at Coachella, like first classical orchestra. And that is really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And I got to come and play 2 songs with them, which was amazing, and like the easiest way to do Coachella for the first time, because it was so chill. I just got to like put on a pretty outfit and be like, sup, and then leave. But it was really cool. If I were 13 or 14, if 14-year-old me in like the depths of like Coachella Tumblr core, which, make no mistake, I got to live out last weekend. Yeah. But if I would have seen the LA Phil build on there, I would have believed so much more in myself. I would have been like, wait, maybe.
I mean, it's just so like representative, I think, of what you've accomplished.
Yeah, and just seeing the amount of people that came out for the LA Phil, it was like there were amazing guests, but in between they were playing classical pieces, and the excitement did not die down. And the audience grew from the first weekend to the second weekend, and it made me really happy. That's really cool. Like, I think it's so beautiful how open to different genres of music or different types of music, different moods of music that, audiences are now open to.
I want to talk a little bit about the amazing community you've built. You do an excellent job connecting with fans in person and online. Can you talk a little bit about how you built your community on social media, with your book club, your playlists, and how you've established such strong relationships with your fans?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like one huge friend group, honestly. I think that's how it's felt from the beginning, and miraculously, it's kind of stayed like that. I see a little bit of myself in every single listener, you know, in every single fan or whatever. It doesn't feel like it, but I really see a little piece of myself in everyone, and I hope that, you know, they also see bits of themselves in each other. And I would have died to have a community like this when I was younger, or, you know, when I was in school. So I think that's kind of at the core of it, just how I hope that I've brought together a community that didn't have that specific community, like that was rooted in loving music and maybe loving things that were a little bit old, but then completely being like a modern person and a modern, you know, yeah. Like I think there used to be like this understanding that to love jazz music or classical music, you had to be like this person that dressed up in like, you know, a suit every day and went to school. You're like that kid. And trust, every school had that kid. But like you can be a completely normal and modern person and still love different kinds of music and old styles of music and old films and stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel so lucky. I'm like, I can't believe that there are this many people that support me and listen to my music and come out to concerts, and it's really amazing. And so I love talking to the community, and because I am a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they're so funny. Sometimes when I'm bored, I just go on TikTok and I like read comments, and I'm like hyena laughing in bed. So funny.
Yeah, it's important, right, as an artist today to have that open relationship with your fans and like a friendship and a connection.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
like authentic. Like you're not like faking stuff. You're talking about stuff that you really care about.
Yeah,
and
I
you're being
really,
your true self.
I feel so lucky that I get to be exactly who I am and make exactly the music I want to make. And I haven't like changed any part of myself. And I feel like the community that's been built around it just reflects that. So I'm always like treated with so much kindness. Like I've never had like a really bad fan encounter at all. But everyone's always really respectful to each other. And it makes me love the community even more, so.
What's it like? How does it feel knowing that you've introduced a younger audience, including some of our GRAMMY members here, to the world of jazz contemporary music on a mass scale?
I mean, it just makes me excited as a fan of music. Like, I always hope that my music can be kind of like what's the right word? Kind of like the road to listening to, like, jazz music. That's kind of always been my hope. Not for anything other than just loving the music myself and wanting more people to hear it and learn about it. And so that's really, really cool. Yeah, it makes me happy.
I think it's representative of, like, if you really are passionate about something and you care about a specific style of music or type of playing or instrument or whatever, and you pursue that, people are gonna gravitate towards it.
I hope so. But jazz is just so good. Like, I didn't have to do much. But yeah, it's really cool. There are so many people in the world. You can always find a group of people who have the same interests as you. You just need to advocate loudly enough for it. That's kind of it.
Laufey, it's been a pleasure talking to you today at the
The
2025
pleasure's all mine.
Grammy U Conference. we're so grateful to you for spending your afternoon with us, and thank you for being an inspiration to so many up-and-coming artists in this room.
Thank you.
I think that wraps up the conversation, but before you head out, I think you might have a surprise for us? So...
Mayhaps?
Maybe?
Perchance?
Perchance? Okay, so for everyone in the room, stay tuned. Laufey will be right back. It's amazing.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is just the start. Do you want to break into the music industry? Stay plugged in with Grammy U at GRAMMYU.com and join the community that's shaping what's next in the music industry.